Today's video is going to be a full tutorial on this look, which is a circle gown with a yoke. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button, like this video, and leave a comment down below if this tutorial is helpful. So first thing I'm doing is I'm going to be drafting the pattern for the yoke, and I'm starting with the shoulder and the neckline. So I'm taking 5 inches for the width of the neckline, and then I'm going to take my shoulder width and divide it by 2 and also add half an inch for seam allowance, and I'm just going to put that down. I'm making this pattern unfold, and that is why we divided the shoulder width by 2. So next thing we're going to do is to go ahead to draw out the length of the armhole, and I'm taking 7.5 inches. So this next step I'm going to be doing it for only the front piece of the yoke, which is taking 0.5 inch, half an inch at the middle of the arm length. So the middle of the arm length is 3.52, and I'm just going to go in by half an inch. Then I'm going to go ahead to divide my upper bust measurement, my round upper bust measurement, by 4 and add my seam allowance, and I'm taking 1.5 seam allowance. And then I'm just going to mark out whatever I get and connect it to the half an inch we took at the arm length. To get the length of the yoke, I'm just going to go below the length of the armhole and measure 0.5 inches. And when I take a total measurement from the top, I have a total of 8.5 inches. So that will be the total length of the yoke. So I already took the width of the neckline. Now I'm just going to go ahead to measure out the length of the neckline, and I'm taking 3.5 inches. Now I'm just going to go ahead to cut this out, but I won't cut out the 0.5 that we took at the armhole yet until I use this piece to cut out the back piece. Then I can go ahead to trim out the 0.5 inch that we took at the armhole. Then I'm just going to go ahead to add 1 inch for the zip allowance and just cut out the same thing for the back piece. So at this point, after I've used the front piece to cut out the back piece, I can go ahead to trim out the 0.5 inch that we took at the armhole. So I'm just going to set this aside so we can cut out the flea, and I'm cutting out the flea on the fabric. And I'm using 3 yards of fabric. I'll use this for both the flea and the sleeve. So I'm going to take my 3 yards of fabric and I'm going to fold it into 4. And on the 4th fold, I'm going to form somewhat of a triangle, and you can see how I'm trying to form the triangle here. Now I'm just going to draw a straight line across there to give us a new place to start from. So from the front piece pattern that we made earlier, I'm just going to take the upper bust measurement, which is 9.5 inches. So at the center front there, I'm going to mark out 2 inches from the line that we drew earlier, and then I'm going to put down my 9.5 inches from there and form somewhat of a circle. Next, I want to measure the length of the flea. So the length of the flea is your full length minus the length of the yoke, and then you add 1 inch seam allowance to it. So when I do that, I have 33 inches. So I'm just going to mark out 33 inches from the circle that we drew at the top there to form the circle at the bottom. So for the yoke, I cut out 2 pieces each so I can double the net and make it a bit stronger. So what I'm going to do first is I am going to be joining the 2 pieces of each of the yoke pieces together, and I'll just be sewing around the edges. So this is what I have after joining 2 pieces of each together, and then I'm just going to go ahead to attach the flare of the front piece to the yoke of the front piece. So this is what we have after joining the front piece together, and before we join the back piece together, we need to create a channel for the zip in the flare. So I'm just going to go ahead to mark out the or notch the middle of the flare. So at the middle there, I'm going to measure 4 inches deep, and I'm just going to mark that out. So at the middle there, in order to create the channel for the zip, I'm going to measure 4 inches deep into the flare. Then I'm going to get another fabric piece that is longer than 4 inches and as wide as 2.5 inches. And I'm going to place it on the middle there on the front side of the fabric. And I'm going to measure out the 4 inches and sew a rectangle just like this. And then I'm going to cut into the rectangle and turn it inside out. So this is what we have now. We can go ahead to join the yoke to the flare. And I'm just going to open up the zip allowance of the flare and just sew straight across it. So after joining the yoke to the flare, this is what we have now. Now I can go ahead to attach the zip, and I'm going to attach the zip by putting it below the fabric and sewing on top of it. So this is what the zip looks like now. Now that we're done with the zip, we can go ahead to join the front and the back pieces together. And I'm going to join them with the shoulder and the sides. So with the sides, I'm going to start by sewing with the 1.5 inch that we took, the seam allowance we took while making the pattern. And as I'm going down the fillet, I will just keep reducing it to about half an inch. So you can see here that I started with 1.5 inch and I ended with 0.5 inch, and I have already sewn the shoulder together here. So now we can proceed further by sewing the neckline. And I'm going to take fabric of about 1 inch width, and it should be longer than the neckline. And then I'm going to go ahead to fold the fabric with about 1 inch and sew towards the front. So after sewing towards the front, I'm going to go ahead to trim out the excess from the zip. And after trimming out the excess of the zip, I can go ahead to fold towards the front and sew. So this is what we have now. Now we can go ahead to hem the bottom and then go ahead to cut out the sleeve. So first thing I'm doing for the sleeve is I am going to mark out my bottom seam allowance and then mark out the length plus half an inch for the top seam allowance. And then I'm going to go ahead to mark out the armhole of the dress on this pattern here. And then because the sleeve I'm going for is a poet sleeve, I'm just going to draw a straight line down from the armhole. And if you want detailed tutorial on poet sleeve, I have a video already on my channel. I'm just going to link it in the description box. In order to easily attach the sleeve to the armhole, I'm just going to go ahead to notch the middle of the sleeve, and that middle is going to be the point where the shoulder would be. And then I'm just going to go ahead to attach the sleeve to the armhole by sewing round, and then I'm going to join the two sides of the sleeve together. So we have come to the end of this tutorial. I hope it was helpful. If it was, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button, like this video, leave a comment down below. If you have any questions or suggestions, you can leave them in the comment section and I'll do well to reply to them. Thank you, and I'll see you in my next video.